third day in London, we're taking
London
the big
confirmed
bus.
something I have believed about interiors for years. A space does not need less character, it needs better editing. The city mixes royal ceremony, Gothic detail, modern glass, bold color, and centuries of history. And somehow it still works. Today I'm looking at London through a designer's eye and sharing 7 lessons we can bring into our homes, especially when we are downsizing but do not want to lose our personality. Welcome back to Cess Interiors, your minimalist designer. During this day in London, we took an open top bus through some of the city's most recognizable areas. We passed Westminster, Buckingham Palace, Piccadilly, Trafalgar Square, St. Paul's Cathedral, the Tower Bridge, and the Thames. At first, this may look like a straightforward sightseeing trip, but when you work in design, it is difficult to look at a city without studying it. You notice proportion, rhythm, material, color, and the way buildings frame human activity. What interested me most was not simply the number of historic buildings. It was the way London allows different periods, styles, and scales to coexist. The city is heavily layered, but it rarely feels careless. That's very close to what I mean when I talk about minimalism. Midimalism is not an empty room, but it is also not a room filled without restraint. It's the deliberate space between minimalism and maximalism. Enough character to feel personal, but enough editing to let that character breathe. As we move through London, I want to share 7 design lessons that apply not only to architecture, but also to the way we furnish and edit our homes. The first lesson is that contrast creates identity. London does not depend on one architecture language. Heavy stone buildings sit beside red brick, white stucco, industrial structures, and modern glass. Some streets change character within a single block. That contrast could become chaotic, but there are visual connections holding it together. The building heights relate to one another. Windows create repeated rhythms. Stone colors reappear. Cornices and roof lines from horizontal lines that the eye can follow. London demonstrates this constantly. The buildings are not identical, but they participate in the same larger composition. Our next stop was Buckingham Palace, where the architecture is only one part of the experience. The movement of the guards, the horses, the music, the gates, the uniforms, and the crowd all work together. The second lesson is that ceremony changes experience. Ceremony does not necessarily mean formality, it means creating a deliberate sequence: arrival, transition, anticipation, and reveal. At the palace, you do not suddenly find yourself standing in front of one isolated building. The experience begins before you arrive. The long approaches, the gates, the memorial, the open forecourt, and the controlled movement of people all prepare you for the destination. Homes also benefit from a sense of sequence. After the palace, we stopped to look at some of the smaller objects associated with London: tea sets, botanical patterns, decorative ceramics, and jewelry. These are not monumental pieces of architecture, but they reveal another important design lesson. Small details often carry the strongest memories. We may admire an impressive building, but later it is sometimes a smaller object: the cup, the pattern, the handle, the color of a package that brings the experience back. This is one reason I do not believe a home should be stripped of every decorative object in the name of minimalism. Objects can hold memory. The problem begins when every object is displayed with the same visual importance. When everything is visible, nothing receives enough attention. As the bus moved through central London, one of the most noticeable design elements was repetition. Windows line up across long facades, columns repeat, balconies establish horizontal bands. Streetlights, trees, and building bays create a steady rhythm. Repetition creates order. A space does not need to be symmetrical in every detail, but the eye needs patterns it can recognize. Repetition gives us those patterns. It allows a complicated composition to feel calm. London uses this principle at an urban scale. The individual buildings contain detail, but the repeated facade rhythms create a large sense of discipline. Repetition is what allows variety to exist without becoming disorder.
Here? No, it's down there. I was just looking to see if there's
Princess
anything
Arcade.
around.
Indian. One of London's defining qualities is the constant conversation between old and new. From one view, you may see historic stonework, a modern observation wheel, a contemporary glass facade, and a red double decker bus. These objects come from completely different periods, but together they form the image of present day London. Old and new can coexist, but they need a bridge. That bridge may be proportion, color, material, or simply enough physical space between the two styles. As we moved east, the scale of the city continued to change. We went from detailed street facades to the Dome of St. Paul's, then toward larger bridges, towers, open stretches of water, and the modern skyline. That variation creates movement. The city alternates between compression and release. Narrow streets followed by open squares, framed views followed by wide horizons. Scale should change as you move through a space. London is not memorable because it removed every layer of its past. It's memorable because those layers remain visible while the city continues to change. Our homes can work in the same way. Many people reach a stage when they want less maintenance, fewer possessions, and perhaps a smaller home. But the process of downsizing can feel as though we are being asked to remove evidence of our lives. London demonstrates that moving forward and preserving identity are not opposites. You can respect history without allowing history to prevent change. You do not need Buckingham Palace portions or a view of Tower Bridge to use these principles. Good design is not determined by the amount of space available. It's determined by the clarity of the decisions made inside that space. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. There's more, I promise. It's even better. Love and light to all. Until the next one, remember, style is what you make or break. Bye.